Well, it has been months of will they or won't they, but the Liberal Party has finally made the decision to ditch its net zero by 2050 pledge. Opposition Leader Sussan Ley joins us live now from Sydney for more. Susan, good to see you. I bet you've had no sleep. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling determined and ready to fight Labor's dreadful energy policy with our affordable energy plan.
All right, okay.
That is also about responsible emissions reduction, Sarah, because these are two things the Labor Party hasn't delivered.
All right.
But households in Australia deserve affordable energy, and that's our priority.
So net zero be gone. In the end, you've gone back to the past to look towards the future. Is this the outcome that you, Sussan Ley, wanted?
Yes, it is. And I am very firmly focused on the future, Sarah, because when I look at Australians' electricity bills going up 40%, and there'll be mums and dads watching your program this morning with the heat of summer coming on, wondering if they'll be able to run the cooler where they need to, when they need to, and what the cost of that will be. This is so important, and Labor has not got it right. They promised in 2 elections power prices would come down. They've gone up 40%. It doesn't have to be this way in a country where energy is abundant and we can have affordable energy with a responsible emissions reduction.
Okay.
Now, if you look at Labor, they've done neither, they've promised both. And I keep asking the Prime Minister in Parliament, when will power prices come down? And I never get an answer. So we are very much focused on the future, especially, Sarah, that younger generation that is really struggling right now.
I suppose it's the younger generation that you've got to be mindful of as well, because this kind of stance may not win you any votes with them at the next election. But just to answer that point you made earlier, how will you make power cheaper?
By having a balanced energy mix, by employing all of the technologies in the grid, by recognising how important it is to have baseload power, and by understanding that we have to be agnostic about what technologies we bring to bear.
Okay, so does that translate to
affordable energy for households?
Does that translate to a greater reliance on coal and gas? And then I also understand that nuclear power is coming back into the mix.
Look, the grid is relying very much on coal right now, and it would be crazy to prematurely close coal-fired power stations. And in fact, state governments here in New South Wales, where I am, are extending their life because they know they have a responsibility to keep the lights on. We do need to step on the gas. We have abundant reserves of natural gas in this country. We do very well at exporting that natural gas, but we're not using it for Australians. And we believe in using those Australian resources for Australian families first.
So is nuclear in the mix as well?
Nuclear is, because our policy is to remove the moratorium. And when we look at 19 out of the 20 developed countries in the world, and those who are bringing emissions down, nuclear is part of that.
But that's going to cost billions,
yes, it's in
Susan.
the mix. Everything is in the mix.
How does that bring power prices down?
Because this is about what works best at the time that we need it. It's not about preferring a particular technology. It's not about the federal government owning a particular technology. It's about every technology having a role to play. Right now, I want to see more gas, and looking to the future, nuclear does make sense. By the way, we're going to have nuclear-powered submarines in this country. The Prime Minister's just signed a deal to do exactly that. So there will be nuclear industries in Australia. He's misleading Australians in so many ways, but particularly by telling them that they can have reduced power prices with his renewables-only policy.
All right.
We believe in renewables in the right place, but we also believe firmly in affordable energy for Australians and playing our part responsibly in reducing emissions, which I have said we will do on average year on year, in line with comparable countries, and as far and as fast as technology will allow. Because why should we go faster than the rest of the world, Sarah? In the last 20 years, we've gone almost twice as fast in reducing emissions, and to meet Labor's targets, we'd have to go almost twice as far.
Are you worried?
It doesn't make sense to Australians.
Are you worried, Susan, about losing the Liberal identity here? I mean, this is essentially a Nationals policy that you've now adopted. Barnaby Joyce cracks it, and suddenly you are terrified, and you drop net zero as well. Who's leading who in this coalition partnership?
This is all commentary. I'm not interested in the commentary. I'm interested in getting out there and fighting for Australians who are hurting badly right now with a declining cost of living. And I'm fighting for that next generation, Sarah, because I see it in the eyes of the young people I meet, and I think of my children and grandchildren. And right now, they are set to inherit a worse standard of living than the generation before them. And that is just not fair, and we need to address it. Because, you know, when energy is unaffordable, everything is unaffordable.
All right, I know you've got a meeting with the Nationals this weekend. Good luck with that. You are a tough woman. You've put up with a lot of rubbish, frankly, and hopefully you can see those smugs wiped off their face, those smug faces soon. Thanks for joining us this morning, Susan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sarah.